Wouldn't it be cool if you had something attached to your Shopify store that can tell you if your net worth is over $1 million just based on the revenue that you're creating in your Shopify back office? Well, now you can, because we have been working in the dark, in secret, so to speak, with our engineering team over the last few months to create an actual tool that you can use for your Shopify store, where you can plug in that tool, that Shopify app, and it will actually look at your revenue on a monthly, weekly, even daily basis to see how much your business would sell on the open market. So this is pretty cool. We've been working on this valuation tool for a while. It's actually been an idea we've had forever, but we've finally got to the point where we could do it, and it is now live on the Shopify app marketplace. So this is pretty exciting. But before I give you the link to go download it and check it out if you're a Shopify store owner, I want to talk a little bit about why this is actually very, very useful for you as an entrepreneur, whether you're planning on selling the business or not, whether or not you're planning on selling it with me or not. So let's go into it, because there is a few lessons here that I have learned after helping sell over 2,000 businesses on the Empire Flippers marketplace, that I think this app in particular is very, very helpful to you as an entrepreneur. First thing is understanding what you're actually valued at. So a lot of people, valuations is a very murky thing, all right? Like, people use all sorts of different formulas, different relevance points, all sorts of stuff. And in my experience, most sellers overvalue their own valuation. And it makes sense, right? It's a whole thing. I think I have a video on it, but I call it emotional equity. Like, if this is your first business, you've never sold it, this business has probably done a lot of really good things for you in your life. So emotionally, you are overvaluing your own business versus what a buyer will do. And this is why there's often this whole like back and forth between buyers and sellers, where like the seller is super insulted that this buyer just gave them this deal that is such a low ball offer. Like, I would never accept this, right? And the buyer, on the meanwhile, was like, this seller is out to lunch. His head is like up in the sky somewhere. He's nowhere close to reality, right? And so this dichotomy I see all the time from my vantage as a business broker. And honestly, this app can help you get out of that emotional equity, to step back and look at the same kind of valuation, the colder calculus, the colder arithmetic that a buyer is probably going to be looking at your business with. Because unlike you, that buyer doesn't have emotional equity with your business. If anything, a good buyer is looking for ways to disqualify your business from even being the one that they want to acquire, because good due diligence systems basically are very, very efficient to get to no before they get to yes very, very quickly, so they can move on to a deal that matches their criteria better. So this is one of the reasons why I like this app a lot, because instead of you having to go to our valuation tool like once every 6 months or whatever and type in new numbers and see what your new valuation is based on your growth trajectory, now you can just actually have it sit in your Shopify store, and it pulls in through our valuation tool API the 2,000 plus transactions we have as real sales data to back up your rolling valuation. Now you always know what you're worth. So if you ever get those emails like, hey, I'm interested in buying you, you now have a starting place. Unlike other entrepreneurs who are just kind of like putting a number out into the air and hoping they're right, you will have an actual baseline of where you can start, where it makes sense. Instead of saying like, my business is worth $3 million, when our app is showing you're actually worth like 2 million, and a buyer comes in and saying like, I'll buy you for 1.7 million, instead of being insulted at that buyer, like, oh, well, I guess that is kind of close. So how about I counter offer that with like 2.3 or 2.4 million, try to go get above the valuation, right? So this serves as a good base for you and as a good reminder of where you are at all times. So I'm a huge fan of this, because again, this is what I see a lot of sellers struggle with. It's not really understanding what their value is. So now when it comes to actually installing the Shopify app, all you have to do is go to this link, which will be in the description down below. It's to the Shopify app marketplace. You can download the Empire Flippers valuation tool app. It will sit in your back end and it'll pull from your, like I said, your monthly revenue dashboard, right? And we have an estimated margin, which may or may not be right for you, but on average, we see like about 30% profit margin. So that's kind of what we went with. Now later on, so keep in mind, this whole app is an MVP, is a minimum viable product. So we want to add more to this app. So for example, we want to be able to make it to where you can put in your estimated margins, so which will change the valuation based on that revenue number, right? Another thing we want to eventually put in is where if you're using, say, Amazon as a marketing channel for your business, along with your Shopify DTC presence, then we could pull in that Amazon API into the app to combine with both of these to give you an even clearer valuation. So that's stuff we want to do. Like ideally, we want this app to be able to look at all of your different retail channels, sales channels, and vice versa, and be more malleable based on your own situation, because every business is quite unique. But right now, we're pretty happy with this. This is just a rough valuation that can give you a good estimation of what you're valued at. So what I would love for you to do, if you're watching this video still, to give me something that I would love, which is click that link, download the Shopify app, and if you like it, or if you don't like it, I would love for you to either send me some personal feedback, which you can just do at greg@empireflippers.com, or leave us a review with your honest feedback, because honestly, that would be a big help to us to get the word out about the Shopify app. So finally, the last thing I'll say about the Shopify app, where it's useful for you to have regardless of what your plan is, because knowing your value is really half the battle. The other half the battle is knowing your own goals. So I get asked, when is the best time to sell your business? Now there's two answers. Like to me, the objectively right answer, if you want to have a big exit, is when you're on the S curve of growth, where you're growing but not yet peaked out. Like to me, that is the best time to sell. But there's another answer here too, and that comes down to a more squishy kind of thing. And that is your personal and your business goals. So personal goals, you should what do you want to do? What kind of life do you want? What do you want to go experience or do, whatever. It should ideally have nothing to do with money, nothing to do with business. This is your lifestyle goals. Like, what do you want to achieve? Then you have your business goals, which include your money goals, but also your other stuff. Like, do you want to start other projects? Do you want to become a real estate magnate? Whatever, right? Those are all your financial goals. And you want to ask yourself, when I sell my business, does it get me materially closer to that? If the answer is no, you probably shouldn't sell your business. But if the answer is yes, then you probably should. And if you know what the number you need to achieve your personal and business goals, and you have that number in your Shopify back office ticking up every single month as you put in the work and the grind and the sweat and the blood and the tears to grow your e-commerce store, then you can track how close you are to hitting your personal and business goals. Because you may never hit with the number you need from just monthly cash flow, but that's the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur. You are building an asset that you can sell for much more than that monthly cash flow, where you can take 2, 3, 4 years of cash flow and get it up front, depending on how the deal is structured, right? So this allows you, using this Shopify app, this allows you to do much deeper goal setting and have a real number ticking every single day, up or down, towards where you want to go. If you want to download the Shopify app and help out Greg, and hopefully help out yourself if you find it useful, then go ahead and click the Shopify link I've left in the description below. With that said, I'll see you in another video.